The first time I played Subnautica, I loved the Seamoth. It was fast and small, making it easy to run away from things like Reapers. Then, as I progressed through the game, I quickly learned that I wouldn't be able to use it to finish the game. Even a fully upgraded Seamoth can only go 900 meters deep. When you go lower than that, the game gives you the warning.
Warning, maximum depth reached. Hull damage imminent.
And the vehicle takes 10% hull damage every 3 seconds. To finish the game, you need to go about 1500 meters deep. That's still 600 meters deeper than the Seamoth can go. This whole time, the Seamoth has been left out of the Sea Emperor's baby shower, and I'm going to change that. In fact, I'm going to uninvite the Cyclops and Prawn Suit by beating Subnautica using only the Seamoth. Jokes aside, let's go over the rules for the challenge. Since I wanted to make the challenge harder, I added a few extra rules. I tried this challenge a few years ago and it was kinda easy, mainly because of the fact that I use an exploit. So, to counter this, the first rule is no using glitches or exploits. This run has to be done using vanilla or intended gameplay. There is a glitch in the game that allows you to enter the Seamoth with your repair tool equipped, making it so you can repair the Seamoth without exiting it. This obviously makes the game too easy, so I'm banning any and all glitches and exploits. The second rule is no using the Cyclops or Prawn Suit. This one's kinda obvious, so it doesn't need any further explanation. The third rule is no bases. I decided to add this because the challenge still wasn't hard enough, and this rule is definitely the hardest one. To access any of the vehicle upgrades, you need a moon pool with a vehicle upgrade console, and the moon pool is a base. That means no depth modules or any of the many other helpful upgrades the Seamoth has. The fourth rule is no saving while at crushing depth. I made this rule so I couldn't just save every minute and reload if the Seamoth blew up. I still wanted a challenge, so now, if my Seamoth blows up, I have to reload to before I entered the crushing depth. Now, with the rules out of the way, let's get on with the challenge. The early game of the challenge was the same as any Subnautica run. You start off looking for resources and items to scan to unlock new stuff. The first part of it was rather uneventful, except for the part where I somehow ended up wandering to the mountain island while looking for parts to scan. But eventually I found enough fragments to unlock the Seamoth and got my new best friend for the rest of the run. The first thing I did when I got my Seamoth was go to scavenge the Aurora. This was by far the best choice I had made in this entire challenge. Actually, thinking about it, that's not saying too much. Anyways, the Aurora had so many things that would help immensely with this challenge by giving me 3 things. The main thing was a lot of batteries. I ended up getting 7 batteries and a power cell out of this. Not only that, but I also got a bunch of nutrient bricks, waters, and med packs. All of these items helped me save time in this run. Now, for the absolute best item I got out of this, the Mark 1 depth module for the Seamoth. It changes the crush depth from 200 meters to 300 meters. Now, don't get me wrong, it's nice and all, but when you have to go 1300 meters deeper than the base crush depth, another 100 meters doesn't do too much. But hey, at least I got a free storage module that I would never use. This is where I ended day 1 for the challenge and picked it up again a few days later. I started off the day by finding where the stalkers keep their secret stash. I found 6 teeth, saving me time looking for them later. After this, I spent my time the best way I possibly could have, by getting upgrades I couldn't even use. I don't even have a way to craft any of them because I can't even access the modification station without a base. I genuinely don't know why I thought this was a good idea, but I kind of just went around to several of the wrecks that were around 300 meters deep. I guess I just wanted to flex my new depth module to the bone sharks or something. On the bright side, while I was meandering, I found 2 time capsules. The first one says, the time capsule opens with a hiss, and you inspect the contents of it. Inside the capsule are 2 nutrient blocks, a creature egg with a strangely cute embryo growing inside of it, and a small plaque holding a message in a language that is only vaguely familiar to you. Your PDA scans the plate, and translated text pops up on its screen. Please take care of me. It seems like your time on this planet may be a bit less lonely now. The second one said, hello there, what an experience. Godspeed, fellow survivor. Have some water on me. Good luck. CB. I got 2 nutrient bricks and a cuttlefish from the first one, and the second one had 4 large filter waters and a med kit. I've only ever seen 2 time capsules total before this. I genuinely have no idea how I found 2 in the span of 20 minutes in one save file. After I was done with my little adventure, I decided that it was finally time to make some progress. So I went over to the Blood Kelp Zone and made my first journey past the Seamoth's crushing depth. Here is an uncut clip of how long it takes before I have to repair the Seamoth and how long it takes to repair it. It took about 20 seconds before I had to repair it, and the repair time was about 13 seconds. If I forgot to repair the Seamoth, it would explode, sending me back to before I entered the crushing depth. To make it to the lava zone, it would normally take around 9 minutes. But because of the fact that I have to stop every 20 seconds, this makes it take about 12 minutes. During those 12 minutes, I would have to stop every 20 seconds for 13 seconds without making a mistake. Now, that being said, this really isn't that hard of a thing to do, except for the small problem that I can't multitask very effectively. If I'm focused on driving to the lava lake and taking the right path, then I would completely forget about repairing the Seamoth, and it would explode, losing me time and making me start over. I just had to learn how to multitask better. It took me a bit, but I finally started to get the hang of it, and made it to the giant cove tree. Then, I had the amazing idea that I should search for some mysterious Lost River cache that had an orange tablet. I spent 6 minutes looking around the Lost River trying to find it until my Seamoth exploded. Instead of giving up, I made the logical decision of trying again for another 14 minutes. And guess what? I didn't find it. What I had been looking for was the Lost River Laboratory cache. I thought that there was an orange tablet inside, and I also thought that you need an orange tablet to get the blue tablet inside the alien thermal plant. The ironic thing is that the Lost River Laboratory cache requires an orange tablet to open. It doesn't have one inside. After the second run, I realized that it would probably be better for me to just go on to the lava zone anyways. After another 10 minutes of this, I not only made it to the lava zone, but made it all the way to the lava castle. Unfortunately, I did a few circles around it, and my horribly unobservant eyes couldn't find the entrance, which sticks out like a sore thumb because it gives off a green glow in a largely red and black environment. This was enough time for me to slip up and let the Seamoth explode, leaving me defenseless in the lava zone. But, ignoring the dangers around me, I pulled out my Sea Glide and continued searching. And it actually turned out well. I found the entrance to the alien thermal plant and made my way into it. This is where I learned something that thoroughly surprised me. You only need a purple tablet to get the blue tablet. I thought you had to get the orange tablet all the way at the Deep Grand Reef Diagassi base. Now, I was so glad that I had checked the alien thermal plant. But then I realized one major problem. I didn't have my Seamoth. Even if I got the blue tablet now, I wouldn't have enough oxygen to make it all the way to the primary containment facility. Unfortunately, I would have to remake the journey. After I reloaded, I decided that I needed more resources. Remember how I accidentally wandered to the mountain island? Well, this turned out to be the perfect place to get everything I needed. So, I went back and grabbed the ion cubes and an extra purple tablet. My plan was simple. Go down to the alien thermal plant, grab the blue tablet, then go to the primary containment facility. There, I would use one of my ion cubes to open the portal in the aquarium, saving me from ever having to make the trip through the Lost River and Lava Zone ever again. So, I started and successfully made it to the alien thermal plant and grabbed the blue tablet. Then, I decided that I would grab the recipe for the ion batteries. No idea why I decided this when I had such a good run going. I walked back over to the entrance, and what do you know? The Seamoth was gone. Another 15 minutes of this pain, only for me to mess it up and have to do it all over again. I did end up trying to swim all the way to the primary containment facility, but yeah, it didn't go too well. This is where I ended off day 2, feeling somewhat discouraged after my mistakes. Day 3 started off great. I got to run all the way to the lava zone and was on my way to the alien thermal plant. Everything was going great. Oh, Mama! Oh! This was a jarring reminder about how terrifying this game can be. I was just chilling, making my way over, and I hear a massive roar. I turn around, and the sea dragon's like 10 feet away from me, and there's a fireball inches away from my face. I don't know what it is, but I am sure the 3 sea dragons in this game were conspiring against me this whole run. You'll see what I mean later. Left a little scarred after this, I continued. My next run was perfect. I made it all the way to the alien thermal plant with no issues. Not only that, but while I was there, I realized that it would be a good idea to grab kyanite and crystalline sulfur. I ran into the alien thermal plant, grabbed the blue tablet, then repaired my Seamoth. I was on my way to the primary containment facility, and I made it all the way to the lava lakes, only a few hundred meters away from my destination. Everything was going great. Where's it coming for me? Oh, goody. My Seamoth! The freaking sea dragon slapped my Seamoth away from me. I swear, he just did it to taunt me, too. After drop kicking my Seamoth, he just up and left, acting like nothing happened. The worst part is, I had left the Mark 1 depth module in the Seamoth. I was hoping that I could take it out before entering the primary containment facility, but why would the sea dragon let that happen? Luckily, I was close enough to use my sea glide and swim over. Then, when I'm less than 20 meters away from my destination, the stupid sea dragon tries to kill me again. Oh boy, he's coming for me! Ah! Ah! Fortunately, the base is sea dragon proof, so all the fireballs did was just harmlessly slide off of it. With a new phobia of sea dragons, I inserted the blue tablet and walked with confidence and excitement. I was ready to be done with the lava zone forever. Then, my dreams were shattered. Thrown away like leftovers on a plate. What could I possibly do? How could I get around this? How can I get another blue tablet without leaving and re-entering the lava zone? I didn't want to do this again. I fruitlessly searched around hoping for a solution. Then I made things much worse. I opened not just one portal, but 2. My reasoning at the time was very simple. I had no Seamoth, so I was hoping for a portal that was at most 300 meters deep, so I could make it to the surface without drowning. Unfortunately, the first portal I opened led to the Lost River, so this left me with 2 choices. Spend another ion cube and hope it leads to a place closer to the surface, or redo everything. As I had said, I didn't want to do it again, so I chose the former. It may not seem like it, but this was the worst option. The reason being, I need at least 1 ion cube to activate the incubator, and I need a second one to open the portal in the Sea Emperor's aquarium. If I had decided to reset, I could have gone down and gotten some kyanite, then gone back to my base to make a second blue tablet, leaving me with 2 ion cubes. Sadly, this is only clear due to hindsight bias. At the moment, it seemed obvious to just spend another ion cube. I had forgotten that activating the incubator also requires an ion cube. In fact, I didn't realize this until I was staring at the indicator that tells you this. Unfortunately, at the time, I didn't know about the ion cube hidden inside the aquarium, so I thought the only way was to go to another base. I ended it for the day feeling kinda done with this challenge. Honestly, I felt like abandoning this challenge and moving on to another. I didn't want to do another run. I didn't want to spend any more time repairing my Seamoth, but instead, I decided I would just take a few days off and start working on the script. My plan for the day is simple. There is 1 ion cube at the alien thermal plant. If I go back, grab the ion cube, and quickly repair my Seamoth before it explodes, then I can go straight to the primary containment facility and get the recipe for the hatching enzymes. So, I started and made it all the way to the lava zone. Everything was going great. Oh! That's right, not this time, buddy. You thought you could get me again, didn't you? But in all seriousness, I genuinely have no idea how my Seamoth didn't explode there. Like, look at its health during this. How did it not explode? Back to the plan, I made it to the alien thermal plant, and one major problem came to light. The run to grab the ion cube and get back to the Seamoth is about 38 seconds. You only have 30 seconds to get back to the Seamoth before it explodes. I had to somehow shave off 8 seconds from a 38-second run, so I pulled out a timer and did some testing. I made a cleaner jump on the way down, and I jumped up the ramp to cut a corner, among some other things. And with those things, I cut the time down to 33.5 seconds. I was about halfway there, but that's the thing, I was halfway there. The only things I could think of to do were to make slightly tighter turns or start a bit closer to the corner. No matter what I did, it was impossible. I tried everything I could think of, and none of it ever made it past 33 seconds. It was simply impossible. Then, the moment I died, I realized just how stupid I had been. This entire time, I could have just gone to the Lost River Laboratory. So, I went over to it and learned that I didn't even need to use the purple tablet to get the ion cubes. There were a total of 3, giving me enough for both the incubator and the portal. So, I made my way back to the primary containment facility and watched as my Seamoth exploded. Feeling a little dejected, I turned around and finished my mission. With the recipe for the hatching enzymes and a portal that led directly to the Sea Emperor's aquarium, I went on a journey to get the 5 ingredients needed. Luckily, I already had 2 of the ingredients, making it so I only needed 3. Then I remembered that one of the ingredients is in the Sea Emperor's aquarium, so I went back and got it, only to find that there is an ion cube hiding in there as well. All of that effort in the alien thermal plant and Lost River Laboratory, and this whole time I could have just swam down a bit and gotten the ion cube I needed. At the pace I was going, I would be able to save the sunbeam. I went back to my life pod to empty out my inventory and made a crucial mistake that has to do with the sunbeam. You see, I have never been fast enough to save the sunbeam before, so this was my first time doing it. What I didn't know is that even though the devs added a way to save the sunbeam, what they did not consider was the timer. If you shut down the quarantine enforcement platform, then answer the message that gives you the countdown for the sunbeam's arrival, the timer kind of breaks. After the 40 minutes have passed, instead of going away, it starts counting into the negatives and never goes away. So for the rest of this run, the timer is now stuck in the top right corner. Unaware of this, I continued to get the final 2 ingredients. Don't look at the timer. I definitely didn't spend 7 minutes looking for the eye stalk. After making the hatching enzymes, I went back to the Sea Emperor's aquarium and got cured. Then I immediately went to the quarantine enforcement platform and shut it down, officially saving the sunbeam. While waiting for the 24 minutes left on the timer, I decided to start getting resources to build the Neptune escape rocket. I built the launch pad and got most of the resources for the base of the rocket. Then I left for the Sunbeam landing site. I literally sat there for over a minute, staring at the sky, waiting for nothing to happen. When I saw it go into the negatives, I thought I had messed something up. Then I searched it up and realized that you have to go back and get a radio message that tells you they won't be landing. So I went back to my base and listened to the message. I was very happy I got this message in my own playthrough in the game. I had always wanted to do this before, but I was never quick enough to save them. Then, while grinding for resources for the Neptune rocket, I finally realized the timer wasn't leaving. So I looked into it and found this. The player should refrain from playing any radio messages after initial contact with the sunbeam to avoid starting the timer. I was stuck with this timer for the rest of this run. A bit distraught, I decided to ignore it and continue building the rocket. I built the gantry and then waited to see what I would need for the next part. Yep, I had to go back down to the Lost River and Lava Zone. I had completely forgotten about the Neptune rocket. So, to save myself from having to make multiple trips, I searched up what other things I would need to get while I was down there. This is where I learned the most heartbreaking news of this whole run. With the current rules I have in place, it is impossible to beat the game. You can do everything in the game, all the way up to the very last part of the rocket, the cockpit. But no matter what you do, you can't build it without breaking the rules. To build the cockpit, you need a plasteel ingot, enameled glass, a computer chip, and lastly, the Cyclops shield generator. The only way to build the Cyclops shield generator is through the fabricator inside the Cyclops. This would break the second rule, no using the Cyclops or prawn suit. So, to make this possible, I have to make one amendment. No using the Cyclops or Prawn suit except in the case of making the Cyclops shield generator. With this new rule in place, it was time to get to work. This whole run, I hadn't scanned a single fragment for the Cyclops. Now, on top of getting things like nickel, kyanite, and ion cubes, I also had to unlock the Cyclops. I had a lot of work to do. I decided to start by getting the ion cubes. I needed 4 of them to make 2 ion power cells. My plan was very simple. Go to the blood kelp zone and get the 4 ion cubes in the alien sanctuary cache. This would normally take around 5 to 10 minutes. But, of course, I decided to go to the wrong blood kelp zone. Now, that wouldn't have been that bad. It would only take like 2 minutes to get there from the other one. The only problem is, I spent 35 minutes there. For 35 minutes straight, I looked everywhere in the wrong blood kelp zone. At the time, I was so frustrated with what was happening, but looking back, it's kind of funny. Before this, I was already wanting to be done with the challenge, but this only added salt on the wound. Instead of giving up, I decided to turn around and go to the other one. I wasn't giving up until I got the ion cubes I needed. After casually juking a Reaper, I made it to the northern blood kelp zone. Once I made it there, it only took me about 3 minutes to find the cache. Now, 4 ion cubes richer, I made my way down to the Lost River to get some nickel. There was only one slight problem. I forgot to bring extra batteries. But instead of going back to my base, I wasted another 8 minutes. Eventually, I went back home and crafted a few extra batteries. Now, I can actually go and get some nickel. I ended up spending another 14 minutes trying to find enough nickel and kyanite, only to mess up. After this, I was done for the day. I have some very unfortunate news for day 5. I played for about 5 hours and finished the game. The only problem is, I forgot to record it. So, what I'm going to do is throw away everything that I had gotten in that time frame and redo everything. And not just the resources, I'm also going to rescan all of the Cyclops fragments as well. This is the inventory of all the stuff I had gotten in that session. I swam all the way to Crater's Edge and dropped everything off into the void. I only made one exception when I got there, the ion power cells. The main reason I kept those is because I had gotten the ion cubes on day 4, so I don't have to worry about those. Also, while I was over there, I found another time capsule. It said, "For dear, my darling, when you found this capsule that I had already leave this planet with my rescue ship. This is a little present for you who still suffer in journey. May they help you. I love you forever. Kevin Chen, July 8th, 2018. Despite the grammar, it was quite the poetic note. What present did they give me? A bag of potato chips and a cup of coffee. While not too helpful, I think it reminds Riley of his home. It helps him to remember what he is struggling and surviving for. With all the items thrown into the void, there's only one thing left. Destruction. Yeah, I had to destroy my Cyclops as well. And what better way to do it than run an experiment? Let's play a little game I like to call, How many Seamoths does it take to kill a Cyclops? Now, since I was broke, I just got the Seamoth down to 1 hit and then repaired it. So, every full repair counts as 1 Seamoth. So far, it has taken 1 Seamoth, and it is still standing, albeit it doesn't look too good. Now, with a fully repaired Seamoth, we go for another round. Whoa. Oh, it broke! It broke! It died! And with that, we have our results, and a pretty cool looking shot of a Cyclops exploding. The results are shocking, to say the least. It only takes 1.5 Seamoths to kill a Cyclops. I know I was surprised. I thought it would be at least 2. Thanks for tuning into How many Seamoths does it take to kill a Cyclops? Anyhow, with the Cyclops dead, it was now time to finish the game, and record it this time. Also, quick side note, I didn't let myself use any of the scrap or power cells from the dead Cyclops. Now, it was time to get back to the Lost River for the last time and get everything I needed. Except I somehow ended up finding my way to the Crater's Edge instead of the Lost River again. I have no idea how I got this lost. So, I found my way back to the Lost River and started my journey. I got the rubies and headed down into the lava zone. I found my first piece of nickel and everything was going great. Oh, well that's interesting. Oh, that's real interesting. Oh, hi there, bro. Hey, how's it going? Oh, okay, yeah. I'm just gonna leave if you don't mind. Yeah, hope you don't mind me just ditching your party. Man, what was I expecting? Of course the sea dragon was gonna take his last chance to frustrate me. Oh, but don't worry. This isn't gonna be the last time we see him. Shortly after, I found my second piece of nickel. Only one more to go. Then I can move on to getting the kyanite. I found the last piece, and almost immediately after... Bro, oh my goodness. I didn't even feel like doing the cutoff this time. I was just straight up mad. I had gotten the last thing I needed before I was basically done. I would have gone to the alien thermal plant and been safe. But this sea dragon decides to snipe me and made me redo the whole thing. This wouldn't have been as bad if he did it earlier. But just to spite me, he did it right at the last possible opportunity he could. This is what I meant when I said they were conspiring against me. Every time that I went into any part of the lava zone, without fail, there would be a sea dragon 50 feet away, ready to attack. All the other times I had somehow avoided being killed, but this time I got sniped. If it had just destroyed my Seamoth, I could have swam away to the alien thermal plant and been fine. But nope, it was an insta-kill for me this time. Now, let's see how my second run went. This is where I decided I would find all the parts needed to unlock the Cyclops and rescan everything. To make it as authentic as possible, I would throw away the titanium as well. After this, I got the rubies and headed back to the lava zone. Surely the sea dragon couldn't possibly attack again, right? Surprisingly, it was the lava lizards that killed my Seamoth this time. Slightly annoyed, I kept looking for nickel. And, right on cue, the sea dragon attacked again. Yeah. 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 Yep, that's what I thought. Luckily, he didn't snipe me this time, and I broke his ankles. Fins? Man, what do these things have? Oh, tentacles. So I broke this thing's tentacles. Huh, that sounds weird. Never mind. I juked this guy and made it to the alien thermal plant. There, I got my kyanite and went outside to find the last piece of nickel. Of course, without skipping a beat, this happened. Yeah. What are you gonna do about it, buddy? What are you gonna do about it, buddy? This time, I was gonna fight back. I'm not letting the sea dragons attack me again without consequences. I found the last piece of nickel and went back to the alien thermal plant to use the teleporter. Side note, I had opened this portal with the ion cube in the alien thermal plant when I first beat the game. There's no way for me to reverse this, and I would just have done the exact same thing anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. So, I went through the portal and headed home. On the way back, I grabbed resources and got the last 2 engine fragments, all 3 bridge fragments, and a hull fragment. Also, when I was getting the 3 deep shrooms, I kinda ate the potato chips and coffee, but no matter. After getting home, I decided to go to the crash field to find the last 2 hull fragments I needed. The only problem is that hull fragments don't spawn in the crash field. I ended up kiting several Reapers and courted death for 16 minutes straight. Well, at least I can confidently say that Reapers don't scare me anymore. After finally searching it up, I realized that hull fragments couldn't spawn in the crash field, but they could spawn in the crag field not too far away. So, I went there in search of some hull fragments. Yeah, guess what? They don't spawn in the crag field either. I'm just dumb. I somehow mixed up reading engine fragments as hull fragments, and I spent another 8 minutes there. I did, however, find many scanner room fragments. I eventually gave up and went home to work on the Neptune rocket. Because of the fact that I had made the Neptune boosters when I first beat the game, I had to remake the launch pad and gantry. So, to get the rest of the resources and hopefully find the last 2 hull fragments, I went to the mountain island. While doing that, I somehow ended up getting lost in a cave. Ooh, purple tablet. Oh crap, I might die. That's unfortunate. Oh my goodness, bro. Oh, that's just about as close as you can get without dying. I have no idea how I didn't die. The screen went black and I somehow made it frames before I would have died. After looking around the island for a while, I still didn't find another hull fragment. I did, however, find another engine fragment. In fact, I found 3 of them, so I started scanning them for some extra titanium. I decided it was time to find these hull fragments once and for all. So, I went to the last place that gives hull fragments, the Mushroom Forest. Only after making some more batteries, though. I started by going to the Mushroom Forest next to the crash zone, as it was the closest to my base. I ended up spending 7.5 minutes looking around until it finally happened. Oh my goodness. They're real. They exist. I was done with this game. I didn't even say anything after finding the last fragment. I was just ready to make the Cyclops and finish the game. While I was gathering the rest of the items I needed to build everything, a small little thing happened. Again, man? Again? Oh, no, this time it killed me. Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah, I died to a Reaper. After this, though, I got enough scrap to finish building almost everything. I started by building the Cyclops, then the boosters, and lastly, the fuel reserve. All that was between me and ending this challenge were 4 items: a plasteel ingot, the Cyclops shield generator, enameled glass, and a computer chip. So, I gathered everything I needed and finished the game.
Auxiliary power unit online. Communications systems array active. Primary computer systems active. Life support systems on. All systems are go and lift off.
Alright.
Time capsule ready.
There we go.
Ready to launch on your command, Captain. Launch in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This was honestly a fun challenge. As much as I was done with it by the end, I had fun messing around in one of my favorite games. I would never recommend this challenge to anyone else, as it was so menial and boring. What I mean by that is there's basically no skill required in this challenge. I was just playing Subnautica, but you have to spend twice as much time in the deeper areas because you have to repair your Seamoth. But regardless, the area I had the most fun was actually writing the script and editing. Something about it was just so fun and interesting. I thoroughly enjoyed making this video. Now, my next challenge is purely based on skill, so it's probably going to take me a while to come out with it. I think I'm going to enjoy doing that challenge much more though. I'll be playing my favorite game of all time, so it's hard to beat that. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. It means a lot to me, and I hope you found me somewhat entertaining. Have a good rest of your day.